They see me, but do I? Welcome to The Shift. Transform your day in minutes. I'm Roman D, the encourager, and today we're making a shift that could change your day and maybe even your life. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered who you truly are? It's easy to get hyped by the likes and the comments and the shares, but what if the crowd's cheers are covering up your own fears? Society sees one version of you, but deep down, you're still searching for who you really are without the filters. On Palm Sunday, as Jesus is coming in, being celebrated by the crowd, he's being lifted up as a king. But he knew the same crowd would shout, "Crucify him," days later. Today's crowd might cheer you on. They might celebrate you. They might give you the pat on the back until you do something that they don't like, until they are ready to cancel you for you saying something that they don't agree with. You know what the amazing thing is? As the crowd celebrated Jesus, they want him to be king without wanting him to be king. What do you mean by that, Roman D? What they wanted is they wanted him to come rule so that they can be on top. Because in that particular time, the Romans were literally ruling over the Jewish people. And so they wanted to be on top. So they wanted Jesus to come take an earthly throne, but they didn't believe that he was the Messiah. They didn't believe that he was the chosen one, the anointed one who comes to take away the sins of the world. They wanted him to be a king that they could lift up their a throne and they could rule over people and tell people what to do. But what happens when Jesus shows up in your life, but he doesn't move the way that you want him to move? So let's talk about what happens when your identity is built on outside affirmation, because Jesus going through this could have just given up. He could have thrown in the towel, but yet he understood he had a purpose. Many of us are making the mistake because we have an applause addiction. We're addicted to and craving the applause of the people. We do things for likes and for mentions. We crave a validation. We crave the desire to have to be applauded. And the truth of the matter is, to some degree, there's nothing wrong with that. To some degree, we all want that. But when we allow the applause addiction to lead and to guide us and to push us, this is the reason why people do crazy things. This is the reason why people will go out of their way and they will be things that they're not even called to be, because they're craving the validation more than anything. I would rather you saying something about me rather than not saying anything at all. So we crave validation. We let likes become our love and followers define our worth. But the same people who cheer you today might ghost you tomorrow. The same people who will like your thing will then unfollow you. And where are you then? What happens when the applause fade? What happens when the likes are no longer coming? Have you allowed yourself to be defined by what others do? Because if we're going to be honest with ourselves, that's not stable. And truth of the matter is, it's just exhausting. You know, I'm not throwing stones at you because I've been where you are. I've experienced what you've experienced. These are real stories and real struggles. I lived for the applause, whether on stage, online, or even in ministry. I posted for praise. I smiled through the sadness until God reminded me, even if the crowd is confused about you, heaven isn't. Even if the crowd is confused about you, Christ knows exactly who you are. He paid the ultimate price that you would know and be confident in who you are. And so I don't know who I'm talking to. Maybe you're going to come back and you're going to watch the replay and you've been looking for the applause of others. You've been doing things for the likes and for the comments. You've been doing it for the gram. You've been doing it for YouTube, and you don't feel like you're fully there. You seem like you're losing yourself. You seem like you're losing your identity. You don't even know who you are because you adopted and you adapted to everybody else's picture of you instead of just walking in. Because just like Jesus, one day the crowd was cheering him on, and a few days later they was yelling, "Crucify him." Palm Sunday wasn't about the crowd, though. It was about the call. It was about the call that was upon his life. Jesus knew he had to go through this. Jesus understood he had to go through the dark times, through the tough times, through when the crowd wasn't calling out his name and wasn't patting him on the back. And truth of the matter is, I need you to know that you're going to go through some struggles. You're going to go through some pains. You're going to go through some things where you don't have a clue on how you're going to come out of it. And you have to be confident in who you are. When the applause stops, you got to know who you are. When the crowd fades, you got to know who you are. When they aren't chanting your name anymore or saying positive things about you, you got to understand your identity. Your identity is given, not voted on. Because what we've made the mistake is, we think others give us our identity. And the truth of the matter is, the God who created you with your identity. And so it's valuable and important and significant that you understand your identity, because others will tell you your identity only to benefit from what you think your identity is. But God lets us know our identity so that we can be strong, so that we can be bold in what he's called for us to do. Your identity is given. It's not voted on. You were never meant to carry or earn your identity from the crowd. The crowd don't know you like that. The crowd ain't even feeling you like that. You were created with purpose before they ever knew your name. Catch this, please understand. Come here. You were created with purpose even before they even knew your name. Even before they knew you existed, you had a purpose. You had a strategy. God had a plan in your life. So to take it back to Jesus, Jesus didn't need the crowd's crown. He already had heavens. So do you. And so if we're going to move from depending on the crowd and depending on the applause and having the applause addiction, one of the things we got to remember is we got to remember who named you. You got to remember who named you. I'm not talking about your mama. I'm not talking about your daddy. I'm talking about the God who knew you before your mama met your daddy, before your mama and your daddy hooked up. Even though you may not have been on their mind, they may not have planned you, you got to know that the God of the universe already named you. And so you got to remember who gave you your name. Isaiah 43:1 says, "Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine." Oh, you got to remember that you belong to God. Can I blow your mind? Even if you don't have a relationship with God, God still created you. He still has a desire to be in a relationship with you. That's the reason why Jesus came to give his life. He came to give his life that everyone would have access to the Father. And if we would just receive Jesus, if we would just receive this relationship, we will then be able to remember who named us. So not only do you need to know who named you, you, but then you got to refuse to let labels limit you. You got to refuse to let labels limit you. Galatians 1:10 says, "For do I now persuade men or God? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ." You got to refuse to let labels limit you. Labels are not necessarily for the individual. Labels are for those on the outside looking in, because they try to label something that even they may not understand it. Because when they try to give you a label, they're trying to understand you. They're trying to put you in the box. They're trying to label you and limit you. And you're much greater than what they've tried to label you. You get so much more that you can do. There's limitless power on the inside of you. You are unlimited. You have the access to and great potential on the inside of you. So not only do you got to remember who named you, not only you got to refuse to let labels limit you, but you got to root yourself in truth. You got to root yourself in truth. John 8:32 says, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." It's you understanding and getting the revelation and the truth about who you are that can change everything. It can change your life. It can change your destiny. You need to know that you're already approved. You don't need a crowd to know your crown. You are loved, seen, and chosen, and on your good days and on your bad days. It doesn't matter if you're on the mountaintop, you are loved, seen, and chosen. It don't matter if you're in the valley low, you're loved, seen, and chosen. So stop living for the claps. Stop living for the applause. Start living for the call. Start living for the purpose. If this resonates with you, I want you to drop in the comments a thumbs up if you ever wrestle with self-esteem. If you overcame self-esteem, then check out our next episode when we shift from identity to purpose. And so make sure you go there, hit that like, hit that share. Thanks for watching The Shift. Remember, even the smallest shift today can lead to your biggest breakthrough tomorrow. I'll see you next time.